You think you're in control of your money? What if I told you your budgeting app, your money tips, even your savings goals were all part of someone else's plan? What if your budget isn't protecting you, but controlling you? Let's go back in time. Before budgeting became an app on your phone, before it was color-coded charts and push notifications. Back then, budgeting was personal and private. For most of human history, budgeting wasn't something you outsourced to a third party. It wasn't tracked by an app or optimized by algorithms. It was something done quietly, at the kitchen table with pen and paper, often by parents trying to make ends meet. You might remember your grandma keeping envelopes of cash for groceries, bills, savings, and emergencies. That method, called the envelope system, worked for one reason: it was fully human. It was based on values, not trends. No one was spying on her habits. No one was tracking her purchases to optimize her user experience. And no company was profiting every time she went over budget. So, what changed? In the late 1990s and early 2000s, as personal computers became common and the internet spread, something big happened. Budgeting became digital. What was once a private, manual process turned into a data stream, something that could be tracked, analyzed, and monetized. Apps like Quicken and later Mint burst onto the scene. They promised to automate your finances, categorize your spending, and give you beautiful dashboards. And to be fair, they did help millions of people get a clearer picture of where their money was going. Then came the next wave. YNAB, you need a budget, Pocket Guard, Every Dollar, and dozens of others. Some focused on zero-based budgeting. Some were designed for debt payoff. Some were built into your banking app directly. It felt like a win. Who wouldn't want a free, AI-powered money manager in your pocket? But here's the question no one asked. If it's free, how are they making money? Budgeting became big business. Here's where the story turns dark. Once budgeting moved into the digital world, it stopped being just about you and your money. It became a product. And you became the product too. Most free budgeting apps work on a data-driven monetization model. That means they collect your spending behavior, track how often you go over budget, analyze what categories you're vulnerable in, e.g., food delivery, retail therapy, impulse buys. Then they either sell that data to third parties or use it to serve you targeted ads. Did you know Mint was acquired by Intuit, the same company that owns TurboTax? They built one of the largest datasets of consumer behavior tied directly to banking and credit info. That's powerful insight and highly profitable. And it doesn't stop at ads. Some apps have partner offers where you'll get budgeting advice like, save more with this credit card. This BNPL app helps you manage cash flow. Open this high-yield savings account today. But those aren't always in your best interest. They're sponsored placements, pushing you toward products that make them money, not necessarily help you budget better. Why this should worry you? Think about what budgeting should be. A tool to reflect your personal values. A system to build long-term freedom. A way to protect you from emotional overspending or manipulation. But once these apps got hooked on your data, the game changed. Now budgeting is often used to nudge you toward behaviors that generate profit for partners. Normalize debt by making buy now pay later seem smart. Make overspending feel less bad. You're only $20 over budget. Why not treat yourself? Turn your financial behavior into a predictable revenue stream. The very tool you trust to help you say no to impulse spending might be designed to help others say yes on your behalf. Modern budgeting apps. What you don't see. Let's look at a few real-world examples. Example 1, Mint before it shut down. Mint was free, but it collected every single transaction and used that to recommend financial products. They'd show you a new credit card that could help you earn more rewards right after you paid off your last one. That recommendation, it was paid for by a bank partner. Example 2, Rocket Money. Formerly Truebill, Rocket Money markets itself as helping you save money. But in the background, it's owned by Rocket companies. Yes, the same group behind Rocket Mortgage. Their long game, get you into a loan product. Example 3, bank-owned budgeting tools. Many banks now offer smart budgeting features. But behind the scenes, some banks prioritize credit products based on your spending habits. They can time credit offers just when your checking account is low, helpful, or predatory. Before you controlled the tool, now the tool controls you. When budgeting was manual, you could decide what really mattered. Saving for your kids' education, paying off a mortgage early, taking a year off for mental health, choosing not to spend on status symbols. But now, when your app flashes alerts like You're below budget, treat yourself. Or you can afford more house than you think. It's pushing someone else's priorities. The hidden feedback loop. Every time you open that app and adjust your goals, swipe left to skip a savings reminder or click a special offer. You're feeding an algorithm. And that algorithm learns, then it predicts, then it influences. This isn't budgeting anymore. It's behavioral engineering wrapped in pastel colors and cheery icons. And the worst part, most people don't even realize it's happening. Let's be honest, we all want to believe the tools we use are here to help us. Budgeting apps, online calculators, even financial advice from our banks. But what if that advice isn't neutral? What if it's designed to push you into behaviors that benefit them, not you? Let's pull back the curtain. Who's really giving you budgeting advice? When you open a budgeting app or get an email from your bank saying, "It's time to build a savings plan," who's behind that message? Is it a neutral third party who genuinely wants to help you take control of your money? Or is it a bank who profits more when you carry a credit balance? A credit card company that earns interest from your slight overspending? A data-driven tech startup whose entire business model is built on analyzing your weaknesses and selling that info to advertisers? Here's the ugly truth. Most financial advice today is not created to make you free. It's created to make you predictable. Predictable people are profitable people. The psychology of nudging. How you're being steered. There's a powerful concept in behavioral economics called a nudge. It's a subtle cue or prompt that pushes you toward a specific decision without making you feel forced. Budgeting apps and financial platforms use this constantly. Example 1, the safe-to-spend illusion. Some apps highlight available funds in green, even if those funds are just leftover from a maxed-out credit card. You feel safe, you spend, they win. Example 2, auto-categorization bias. Ever notice how certain spending categories are grouped? Dining out is labeled as lifestyle. Streaming subscriptions are tagged as entertainment. But high-interest loans are just listed as monthly expenses. No warning, no red flags. That's not a bug. That's a feature. They're making debt look normal so you don't question it. Example 3, the reward trap. Some budgeting apps gamify savings, but also gamify spending. You stayed under budget this week. You deserve a treat. Then they show you targeted offers based on what you've saved. You feel empowered, but you're being funneled toward a new purchase. That's not advice. That's manipulation with confetti. When your bank becomes your debt dealer, banks love to market themselves as financial mentors. Let us help you manage your money. Let's build a smart plan together. But behind those friendly words is something else. An incentive to keep you borrowing. Real example, credit card budgeting tools. Some banks offer budgeting calculators that help you project your monthly spending. But while you input your numbers, the app is calculating something else. If they overspend by 12%, that triggers a loan offer. If their checking balance dips under $50, push an overdraft protection ad. Suddenly, budgeting becomes a gateway to new debt. And the kicker, these tools are often branded with empowering names like Smart Budget, Money Insights, or even Financial Wellness. But make no mistake, they're designed with system profit in mind. The lie of buy now, pay later budgeting. Here's where it gets sneakier. In recent years, budgeting tools have partnered with buy now, pay later BNPL companies like Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm. You've seen them. Can't afford it this week. Split it into 4 payments, budget-friendly. Sounds responsible, right? Wrong. Here's what's really happening. You're being conditioned to view debt as budgeting. You normalize immediate gratification with future obligation. Your budget reflects lower monthly costs, but hides the growing total behind the scenes. In short, buy now, pay later isn't budgeting, it's debt with lipstick. And these tools love it because every time you make that smart budget decision, a BNPL partner gets a cut. Even worse, some budgeting apps integrate BNPL payment schedules directly into your budget tracker, so you never feel like you're in the red. But debt is debt, no matter how pretty the dashboard looks. You're not budgeting, you're being programmed. Let's call it what it is. You think you're managing money, but the system is managing you. Here's how. Traditional budgeting, modern nudging tools. Self-determined values, pre-filled categories based on market trends. Deliberate savings goals, auto-recommendations tied to partner products. Manual reflection, AI-generated nudges to buy/borrow. Protection from overspending, encouragement to spend smarter, aka keep spending. You're being slowly trained to spend in a way that benefits others first and leaves you thinking it was your idea. And what happens when you try to opt out? Let's say you wise up, you turn off notifications, you delete the app, you go back to pen and paper tracking. The system doesn't like that. Here's what starts to happen. You get emails from your app. We noticed you haven't checked your goals lately. Your bank's app auto-enables budgeting suggestions unless manually disabled. You're targeted with ads. This budgeting tool helped Sarah save $4,000. Some banks even penalize you with lower credit offers if you don't engage with their tools. Opting out means becoming less trackable, which means less valuable to the system. The real agenda: financial dependence disguised as empowerment. Let's stop pretending this is accidental. Budgeting tools today are engineered to keep you in perpetual engagement, nudge you toward profitable choices for them, normalize debt as strategy, encourage just enough control to feel good, but not enough to break free. You are being taught to be financially responsible in a way that keeps you financially dependent. That's not budgeting. That's behavior design. That's manipulation dressed in fintech. So what can you do? In the next section, we'll show you how to break free from these subtle traps and reclaim your financial autonomy. But first, ask yourself honestly, do I trust the source of my budgeting advice? Is this tool helping me spend less or just spend differently? Who wins if I follow this suggestion? If the answer isn't you, it's time to rethink your strategy. Because budgeting should protect you, not profit from you. Let's not sugarcoat it. You are not the only one watching your money. The system is watching you back. And it knows how your brain works, possibly better than you do. Every financial app, budgeting tool, online banking interface, they're not just tracking your numbers. They're engineered to tap into your emotions, habits, and neurochemical responses. Why? Because a rational consumer is unpredictable. An emotionally triggered one, profitable. They know how your brain responds. Modern marketing psychology is no joke. Billions of dollars have gone into studying human behavior, attention span, and decision-making. From the way you swipe your screen, to the way you react to colors, to the sound your phone makes when you reach a goal. None of it is random. Let's break it down. 1. Emotional manipulation through design. Color coding your emotions. Ever noticed how budgeting apps use green to signal success? You're on track. Green. Under budget. A green. You saved $25 this week. Bright, happy green. Now contrast that with you overspent. Red. Warning, low balance. Red with exclamation mark. Debt increase detected. Usually, not even shown unless you click 3 layers deep. Color psychology isn't just decoration. It creates an emotional response. Green equals calm, accomplished, in control. Red equals fear, urgency, shame. These cues make you associate certain spending behaviors with positive emotions, even if the behavior isn't actually smart or sustainable. Real-life example. A major app showed a user in green every time they spent only $80 at restaurants instead of $100. The app praised them, even though they were trying to cut eating out entirely. The user felt proud, but kept spending. Push notifications that trigger dopamine. Did you know notifications can be designed to release dopamine? Dopamine is the reward chemical in your brain. It's what fires when you expect a reward, not just when you receive one. Apps take advantage of this by sending alerts like, "You've just hit your goal, great job. You're only $5 away from your weekly target, keep going." Want to boost your savings? Click here to explore new tools. These aren't just updates. They're emotional nudges, carefully timed and worded to keep you engaged and keep you spending just enough to stay on the platform. It's the same mechanism used in slot machines. You win just often enough to keep playing, never quite enough to walk away. 2. Reframing overspending as self-care. This one's especially insidious. In recent years, the personal finance world has adopted a warm, fuzzy buzzword to make you feel better about unnecessary spending. Self-care. Treat yourself culture weaponized. You've seen it. You've had a hard week, order that takeout. You deserve it. Budgeting is about balance. Get the latte and skip guilt. Mental health day. Add a $60 candle to your cart. Self-care is priceless. The goal is clear. Lower your guilt threshold. And the method is subtle. Use empathetic messaging to convert spending into emotional well-being. Apps and websites are no longer just selling products. They're selling emotional validation. The result? You no longer question the logic behind a purchase because it's been rebranded as therapy. The smart split illusion. Another trick, breaking down big purchases into tiny, digestible pieces. This is called micro-framing. It works like this. A $200 coat isn't a $200 expense. It's only $50 a month for 4 months, BNPL style. Or worse, just $1. 64-day, less than a cup of coffee. This tactic disconnects the cost from the pain of paying, reducing your natural resistance to big spending. It doesn't feel like a big hit until all those little hits pile up. Apps love this. They build visual tools that break spending into daily units, show tiny progress bars toward your purchase goals, let you hide the total cost behind friendly language like installments or flexible financing. It's not budgeting. It's denial dressed in pastel graphics. 3. Gamifying spending to keep you hooked. Budgeting apps today use gamification to make money management feel fun. But here's the twist. They gamify spending just as much as or more than saving. You earn badges for completing a saving streak, then get a spending offer to celebrate. You're praised for budgeting $100 for shopping, but the app reminds you when there's $40 left to use. You hit your savings goal early and get an ad. Upgrade your phone with 0% APR. This constant loop is reward addiction dressed as personal finance. The loop looks like this: when you feel in control because you set a budget. 2. App congratulates you, positive reinforcement. 3. App presents a spending opportunity, dopamine trigger. 4. You treat yourself, emotional reward. 5. Budget resets next month, false reset. 6. Repeat. This is not financial freedom. It's financial conditioning. 4. The danger of digital permission slips. One of the most dangerous aspects of marketing psychology in budgeting is this. You feel like you're asking yourself for permission. But in reality, the app is giving you that permission. And once you've outsourced that emotional control, your willpower starts to weaken. You don't notice how you're being trained to rationalize indulgent spending, recategorize waste as wellness, prioritize mood over math. So what can you do? Here's how to fight back. Turn off notifications. Stop letting apps tell you how to feel about your money. You're not a dog waiting for a treat. Reclaim manual control. Use a notebook, use Excel. Don't let someone else's UI decide your emotions. Reframe self-care. Self-care is rest, sleep, nutrition, therapy, not spending sprees that destroy your financial peace. Challenge micro-framing. Always calculate the total cost, not the daily equivalent. Debt doesn't shrink just because it's paid in small pieces. Build emotional awareness. Track not just what you spend, but why. Were you bored? Lonely, tired, triggered by a shiny ad? Bottom line, budgeting should be a mirror, not a manipulator. The best budgeting systems help you reflect on your values, goals, and priorities. They don't stimulate your impulses. They don't play with your brain chemistry. They quiet the noise so you can hear yourself think. If your app makes you feel good about bad habits, if it nudges you toward indulgence instead of independence, if it feels more like Instagram than a financial tool, it's not helping you, it's selling to you. So far, we've exposed how modern budgeting tools, while dressed in friendly colors and positive vibes, often serve someone else's interests. But that doesn't mean budgeting itself is broken. The problem isn't the concept of budgeting. The problem is how it's been weaponized. Now it's time to take it back. Let's talk about how to reclaim your budget and make it yours again. Step 1. Break free from the app dependency. Let's start here. If your budgeting system depends entirely on a phone app, a cloud dashboard, or notifications, you're not fully in control. That doesn't mean all tech is bad. But if the app disappears tomorrow, would you still know how to manage your money? If not, that's a red flag. Reclaiming your budget means learning to budget offline, not just as a backup, but as a baseline. Here are 2 simple tools to start with. Option A, pen and paper. Classic: no ads, no algorithms, just you and your numbers. It forces mindfulness. Every transaction must be logged by hand. Option B, spreadsheet, Google Sheets, or Excel. You control the categories, the formulas, and the design. No hidden nudges, no pop-ups, just clean, raw data. The key is to strip away the noise so you can see what your money is really doing, and more importantly, why. Step 2, redefine your budget categories by values. One of the biggest traps in modern budgeting is preloaded categories. The app tells you what should matter: rent, dining out, shopping, subscriptions, personal care, entertainment. But these categories are market-driven, not you-driven. Reclaiming your budget means starting from scratch, not with categories that reflect spending habits, but ones that reflect life values. Ask yourself, what kind of life am I trying to build? What brings me real peace, not just momentary pleasure? What expenses move me forward and what just keep me distracted? Then group your expenses accordingly. Step 3. Use the bulletproof budget framework. This is where it gets practical. Let's build a budget that's simple, value-based, and manipulation-resistant. I call it the bulletproof 3-1 needs. This includes all essential survival expenses: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, basic insurance, medications. Rule of thumb: if it keeps you alive, employed, or secure, it's a need. 2. Freedom. This is where true budgeting begins to serve you, not the system. Expenses that expand your options: paying down debt, emergency savings, investing, education or skill building, starting a side hustle, taking a sabbatical. Ask yourself, does this reduce my future dependency on a paycheck? If yes, it belongs here. 3. Growth. This category is about soul, not just savings. It includes expenses that deepen your quality of life: therapy, travel with intention, spiritual or creative retreats, donations to causes you believe in, time purchases, e.g. hiring help so you can rest or create. Growth isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The system wants you to stay comfortable, not curious. But this is where transformation lives. Step 4. Try old-school methods that still work. Let's not forget that some of the best budgeting tools were invented before smartphones, and they still work, sometimes better than tech. Here are 2 classic methods you can start using today. Envelope system, the physical method. This is exactly what it sounds like. Get physical envelopes or cash folders. Label them by spending category: food, gas, rent, fun, etc. Each payday, stuff each envelope with the exact cash budgeted. When the envelope is empty, you stop spending. Why it works: it creates natural limits. It's tactile. You feel the money leaving. It builds discipline without digital tracking. Even if you don't want to live entirely on cash, try it for one category, like eating out or entertainment. You'll feel the shift. Zero-based budgeting, the mental method. Most people do surplus budgeting. I'll spend what I need and save whatever's left. That's lazy and dangerous. Zero-based budgeting flips that. With every paycheck, you assign every dollar a purpose, until you have $0 left unallocated. $1,500 paycheck. Break it down line by line. Rent, $600. Groceries, $250. Gas, $150. Debt, $200. Savings, $100. Growth fund, $100. Giving, $50. Buffer, $50. Total equals $1,500. Nothing floats. Every dollar is a soldier in your financial army. You're the general. Why it works: it makes you deliberate, not reactive. You stop thinking in vague categories and start thinking in real choices. No more extra money equals no more accidental spending. Step 5. Perform monthly budget audits. Reclaiming your budget isn't a one-time setup. It's an ongoing relationship with yourself. At the end of every month, perform a budget audit. Ask, did my spending reflect my values? Where did I go off track and why? Was it boredom, stress, pressure, or social influence? Did I feel in control or manipulated? This isn't about shame, it's about self-awareness. Track your emotional patterns, not just your dollars. Build anti-manipulation rituals. Want to future-proof your budget from nudges and ads? Set hard rituals like no shopping while emotional or late at night. 24-hour rule on non-essential purchases. 1-in, 1-out rule for clothing and tech. Weekly cash only, days to reconnect with spending. These rituals anchor your budget in consciousness, not convenience. Bottom line, take the power back. When you reclaim your budget, you stop being a consumer and become a creator. You stop reacting to suggestions and start responding to reality. You stop living paycheck to paycheck and start living with purpose. Budgeting is not about restriction, it's about alignment. Your money should reflect your mission, not someone else's marketing. So turn off the app, pick up the pen, and build the kind of budget that builds you. By now, you've learned how modern budgeting tools and financial platforms often blur the line between support and control. But how do you know if it's already happening to you? Let's look at the red flags, the telltale signs that your budgeting experience is being manipulated, not managed. Because the scariest part of manipulation is this: you don't know it's happening until it's too late. Red flag 1, the guilt trap. You didn't save enough this week, don't give up. Sounds supportive, right? But read that again, the message isn't neutral. It's subtly shaming you for not saving. Modern budgeting apps are increasingly using guilt-based nudges. Looks like you went over budget again. You're falling behind on your monthly goal. Others in your income bracket saved 20% more than you. These aren't just reminders. They're emotionally charged triggers designed to make you feel inadequate and then engage more with the app. Why? Because guilt keeps users hooked. And guilt often leads to impulsive behavior. I'll make up for it by saving more next month, but tonight, I deserve to order takeout. Result, you spend more, feel worse. Open the app again, it becomes a cycle. But it's not a budgeting system anymore. It's a shame engine. Red flag 2, debt suggestions disguised as help. Here's one of the most sinister tricks in the playbook. Right after you make a responsible choice, like paying off debt or transferring money into savings, you get a prompt. Need more cash flow? Explore a low-interest personal loan. You've built savings. Now leverage it with a flexible credit line. Want to increase your spending power? Pre-approved credit offer inside. Let's break that down. You just made a move toward financial health. The system responds with a suggestion that pushes you back into dependency. This isn't support, it's a carefully timed bait-and debt tactic. How it works: when you feel empowered for making a smart financial move. 2. That feeling increases your confidence dopamine boost. 3. The system leverages that emotion to offer a new product, often involving borrowing. 4. Your brain, still feeling in control, is more likely to say yes. That's not financial advice, that's neuromarketing. Red flag 3, ads based on your spending behavior. Let's say you've been spending more than usual on Uber rides, takeout, retail therapy, streaming services. Then suddenly, your budgeting app shows you. Upgrade to Uber One and save. 20% off DoorDash Premium. Buy now, pay later options for your next Amazon haul. Coincidence? Not even close. Apps track your spending patterns, then monetize your impulses. They serve ads not based on what you need, but what you're most vulnerable to. You're not just a user. You're a target, and the algorithm knows exactly where your guard is down. Checklist: are you being manipulated? Answer honestly. Do you feel guilty when you don't save enough, even if your core needs are met? Do you receive debt-related product offers right after achieving small financial wins? Are you seeing personalized ads or suggestions based directly on your spending habits? If you answered yes to 2 or more, you are likely not the one in control of your budget. The system is managing you while pretending to support you. Why this manipulation works so well? It's not because you're weak. It's because the system is designed to be invisible. Budgeting apps present themselves as tools but behave more like influencers. They speak in first person. You've got this. They use emotion. We believe in you. They foster loyalty, streaks, badges, levels. They position themselves as coaches, but act like marketers. And because they live inside your phone, often next to your meditation app, your calendar, or your banking, they gain your trust by proximity. Once they have that trust, they start bending your choices, just a little. Psychological tricks they use against you. Let's break down some subtle psychological weapons used in this manipulation. 1. Anchoring bias. They show you that most people save $500 a month, making your $100 feel small, even if $100 is perfectly reasonable for your situation. 2. Social proof traps. Users like you save with this feature. It implies you're falling behind your peer group, even though you're never shown real comparison data. 3. Scarcity and urgency. Today only. Boost your savings with this exclusive account. Creates pressure, reducing your ability to assess rationally. 4. Framing language. You can't afford not to invest right now. Makes saying no feel like a mistake, even if you're not ready. These tactics have nothing to do with real financial planning and everything to do with control. What to do if you're being manipulated? 1. Recognize the pattern. Awareness is the first defense. Next time you feel nudged, pause, ask, who benefits if I say yes to this? 2. Detox your digital finance tools. Try 30 days without a budgeting app. Use paper or Excel. Notice how your mindset changes without algorithmic feedback. 3. Unsubscribe, unlink, unfollow. Disable marketing notifications. Unlink savings goals from upsell tools. Delete apps that sell user data or bundle budgeting with credit. 4. Build a values-based system. Review Part 4. When you define your categories and your definitions of success, the system's messages lose their grip. 5. Talk about it. Share this with others. The manipulation stays powerful as long as it stays hidden. Bottom line, budgeting should liberate you, not shape you. There's a difference between being informed and being influenced, between having a plan and being part of someone else's. When budgeting tools shame you, push debt at you, profit from your vulnerabilities, They're not tools anymore, they're traps, and you deserve better. Take the power back. You don't need an app to tell you what freedom looks like. You already know. You just need to listen to yourself louder than the algorithm. We've walked through the smoke and mirrors. You've seen how modern budgeting isn't always about empowerment, it's often about engineering. Apps that guilt you, banks that bait you, algorithms that know your weak spots before you do. They don't want you to stop spending. They want you to feel smart while you stay stuck. But here's the truth. A real budget doesn't manipulate. It liberates. It's not built to fit into someone else's system. It's built to reflect your values, your goals, your life. So today you have a choice. You can keep following nudges. Keep chasing numbers that don't mean anything. Keep being told when to spend, how to save, and what success looks like. Or you can flip the script, unplug from the default system. Write your own categories. Align your spending with your mission, not their marketing. Choose a budget that doesn't just count dollars, but builds meaning. Because in a world where everyone's trying to sell you freedom, the most radical act is to define it for yourself. Your budget is a revolution. It's not about spreadsheets. It's about sovereignty. When you choose where your money goes, when you stop letting corporations design your goals, when you spend with awareness and purpose, that's not just budgeting. That's resistance. And it starts with one decision. This time I budget for me. If this message hit home, don't let it fade. Like the video to tell the algorithm this conversation matters. Subscribe for more truth about how money, systems, and psychology collide. Share this with someone who's been quietly feeling like they're failing at budgeting, when really, the system is failing them. And drop a comment. What's one value you want your money to reflect, starting today? You are not a line item. You are not a user profile. You are not a target market. You are a human being with a mind, with a mission. And now you have the tools to take your budget back. Let this be the beginning of your financial revolution. We'll be right here walking it with you.